welcome back. If you are new to this channel, I'm Sister Charity, and I always start with a question. So my question to you today is, why does bad things happen to good people? Especially those people who have given their lives to God, who are living righteously, those who pray for people, those who go to church, those who try to live the best they can to honor God. How come it always seems like bad things happen to them? And I want to share with you today my perspective. And I want to use Paul's writing in Romans to help me with this. But the reality is, before I do that, before I go to Romans, the reality is that when we are a child of God, there's nothing that happens to us that's bad. And I'll prove it to you. If you would go to Romans 8:28, it says, all things work together for the good of them who love the Lord and those who are called according to his purpose. And so I was pondering that, and I was thinking, wow, this bad thing, this hurtful thing, this painful thing, they all come together for my good. They all either strengthen me, they encourage me, they help me to see where I'm at. The bottom line is God uses all things to work things out for our good. A song that I'm reminded of is that song that says, what the enemy meant for evil, God will turn it for good. And I'm a living witness that he will turn it for good. But if we really believe that, if we really believe all things work together for our good, then how come we get an issue when we have to go through something? How come we're ready to throw in the towel when it just seems like everything is chaotic and nothing is working right, and I lost my job and my marriage is on the rocks, and all of these different things that come? If we would just trust, especially I'm talking to those of us who are children of God, who have given our lives to God and who are called according to his purpose. He said all of it is going to work for your good. Just be faithful. Just trust me, because all of us have some enemies that are trying to come against us, that's trying to get us off our square, that's trying to get us to denounce God, that's trying to get us to turn away from God. We have an enemy that is trying to steal, kill, and destroy everything that God has planned and purposed for our life. And so one of the people that come to mind when I think about someone who remained faithful even though he had to go through is Daniel. In the 6th chapter of Daniel, we read about Daniel, how he was a man that prayed 3 times a day to God, every day. He was also a man that found favor with God and the king. He was also a man that was promoted. And you know what? As God's children, we love that part. We love when we find favor. We love the promotions. We love the blessings. We love when people are pouring into us. But don't let something come up where our life is at stake. See, here, for those of you who may not be aware, there was some enemies of Daniel, and they wanted to destroy him. And they couldn't find not one thing that he did that was bad except pray to his God. So they went to the king, of course, and they told the king, look, king, why don't you make a decree that anyone that prays to a God other than you, O king, will be thrown in the lion's den. So the king made that decree, not realizing it, not knowing that Daniel, prayed to his God every day. And that's what made Daniel who he was. Sometimes you don't have to let people know you praying every day, because the only one that really needs to know is the one you're praying to, and that's God himself. But anyway, he made this decree that if anybody is caught praying to any other God except the king, that they would be thrown in the lion's den. And so the enemies, Daniel's enemies, they saw him praying like he did every day. And they went and told the king that we caught Daniel praying to his God. And the king became upset for several reasons. One, he loved Daniel, and he was like, man, why would Daniel do this? And then secondly, now I got to put Daniel in the lion's den. But what I love about Daniel is he was faithful to God in spite of what the consequences looked like, in spite of the situation, in spite of the fact that he had to go through this very difficult time. He had his faith and his trust in God, and that is what God is calling for today. And we know that Daniel was thrown in that lion's den. But if you keep reading, we also know that God shut the mouth of the lion and nothing happened to Daniel as a result. And he was in there all night. And so I give God the praise for Daniel's testimony. And listen to this. When the king realized that nothing happened to Daniel, the king made another decree after he destroyed those who tried to deceive him to kill Daniel. Okay, so be careful. Just know that vengeance is the Lord. Just know that the battle is not yours, it's the Lord. He'll take care of all that other stuff. Remember, it's going to work out for your good. So as a result, the king, because of what God did for Daniel, the king made a decree that everybody was going to bow down and worship the God of Daniel. So as I come to a close, when you're going through and when you allow God to take you through, can people say, I'm going to worship the God of Mary. I'm going to worship the God of Alicia. I'm going to worship the God of Pastor D. I'm going to worship the God of CJ. Because they saw you go through. They saw that you didn't give up. They saw you hang in there even in the most difficult time. And you trusted God and you believed that God would make a way, and he did. So in closing, I just want to say, what the enemy meant for evil, God will turn it to good. Be encouraged, my sisters and brothers. God bless. Bye-bye.